Sharktacular 2016. And here's our host, Eli Roth.
Hold on to your couches for dear life. After 28 years of the most thrilling shark moments ever, we're back with your survival guide to Shark Week. We set out to make each Shark Week bigger, better, and badder than the last. Since last year's show, there's been no shortage of real-life shark encounters, featuring people just like you. Our first home video features a shark that got a little too close for comfort.
This shark jumping into the boat was completely an accident. It had a fish in its mouth and was just trying to get away with it. Probably used a little bit too much power with its tail, ended up in the boat.
Every once in a while, we get a video so unbelievable it leaves me speechless. Like this one. Think photobombing is a distinctly human phenomenon? Think again.
Some sharks will do anything to get on Shark Week. I mean, talk about being thirsty for attention.
Sometimes sharks will breach to feed, or they'll breach to avoid each other. I don't know if there's a larger shark that maybe he was jumping out of the way for.
It's hard to tell what this animal was actually doing, but what an encounter.
One thing about floating on top of the water, you can't always see what's under the water, even when it's 5 times the size of your kayak.
Coming toward you! Right there!
Anytime you have a shark around you, the best response is to stay very calm, don't make any quick movements, and enjoy the show.
This is a basking shark, second largest shark in the ocean. Eat only plankton, not kayakers. So super lucky to have that experience and be able to kayak with a completely harmless but incredibly impressive shark.
When you have a number of sharks attempting to feed on the same food source, they'll usually establish a pecking order. The big ones let the little ones know, don't come in here yet. This smaller great white shark just got the message the hard way.
This is the shark equivalent of like a slap down. This was a warning bite. This was not intended to actually even harm the shark. And the reason why you see these, really tough, war-wounded sharks on Shark Week is because this happens all the time.
Scared tourists, tight spaces, giant sharks? What could go wrong? Take a look at these cage diving clips and find out. What these tourists experience is absolutely incredible. And the whole reason I bought a 3D television.
Holy oh my God.
When they throw out the bait and they bring the shark in, well, the shark's in pursuit of the bait. I think it's amazing to be able to see these animals in their true habitat, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're going with an operator that's also got the shark's interest in mind too, and is operating with safety, not just for you, but for the shark.
A shark cage is generally a pretty safe place to be if you're in the water filming sharks. But when a shark is moving that fast, and when they're turned on, look out. But actually, in this instance, I think the shark was in more danger of being injured than the divers.
It's supposed to be safer inside the cage. With a shark that size, what's the difference?
The animal we're looking at in this clip is named Deep Blue, a really, really large white shark that lives off Guadalupe Island, probably the largest white shark ever filmed.
I haven't personally met Deep Blue, but she is world famous. That shark is a monster.
Deep Blue is nice because it's a positive encounter, and she's a very big shark. So it's letting us know that these sharks, at least some of them, are surviving to be fairly old and very large.
Trapping someone in a shark cage would be a pretty effective form of torture. Look for it in my next movie.
white shark's stimulated, they keep like baits off the side. With all the scent coming off, it confuses its natural prey items. It's not trying to break open the cage in any way. It's just at that point, it's relying on other senses other than sight.
You don't need a cage to watch Shark Week, but it wouldn't hurt.
Sharks have no hands. They only have a mouth. So when they're curious about something, they display a behavior called mouthing. And what happens is if they don't know what something is, they may give it a little test bite to try and figure it out. You know, a test bite on a human being is not a good thing. A test bite on a cage, meh, curious.
Jono's got a massive Mako.
Sharks. Sometimes they just want stuff.
So I'd go.
Your stuff.
Half done him like he did that. Oh!
Bloody sharks.
Sharks are absolutely opportunistic predators. It's all about taking the least amount of risk for the most reward. If you have somebody offering you a free meal, of course you're gonna take it instead of cooking dinner yourself, right?
Fish move in the water and make like certain sounds that only sharks can really hear because it has a system called the lateral line system along its whole body, and it can feel like fishes thumping around. So it probably found out that like a fisherman caught a fish, saw the fish, and took advantage of it.
Jeez, I hate sharks.
When a shark tries to rob you blind in broad daylight, let him.
Uh-oh, he's gonna take our chum bag. He grabbed our chum bag! He grabbed our chum bag!
Well, I think this guy is onto it that the shark might be taking his chum bag.
He's faster. He ripped our chum bag right off.
I'll buy you a new chum bag. That is amazing.
Replacing a chum bag, $2.99. Having a shark pick its head up and look at you from the back of the boat, absolutely priceless.
Holy, he ripped our chum bag right off.
Some sharks are so small they're almost cute. But don't mistake cute for friendly.
That's the cutest shark attack I've ever seen. So the horned shark is native to California. Really cute little shark, very skittish, but they can be provoked into biting. And when they do, think of them as little terriers, they don't let go.
These little guys, they actually have very, very interesting dentition. They have kind of peg teeth in the front and molars in the back for crushing. And since they have, you know, such clamping jaws, he just latched on and didn't let go.
It's only got a hold of his wetsuit. If that little horn shark actually had a piece of flesh, it could actually pinch a piece off.
This diver was lucky. Either that, or he just tastes terrible. When you're out for a day of family fun, the last thing you want the kids to see is this.
This is a ragged-toothed shark. These sharks are very, very docile, but this guy kind of overestimates how docile this shark's gonna be.
So this is why the International Shark Attack File differentiates between provoked and unprovoked attacks. Obviously, this was a provoked attack. I mean, I would consider this almost shark molestation. It looks like the scientist was trying to tranquilize the shark and grabbed onto the shark, who was pregnant, and she just didn't want to be manhandled.
Turns out sharks, much like neighbors, really hate annoying noises.
There's a very well-known trick. If you crunch or you actually rub a plastic water bottle, what happens is it sends out vibrations that attract sharks.
And that crushing sound is something that sharks will pick up on because they assume it's fish feeding.
It can really, really piss off sharks.
It's not something that I would ever advise anyone to do, and this is just an inexperienced diver doing something that I feel was kind of foolhardy.
Sometimes the scariest shark is the shark you don't see at all.
Shark 1, fisherman 0. I mean, he even lost all 3 of his fishing rods, obviously. That's something that sharks do. They're opportunistic predators, and they're also very curious, too.
I'm glad the shark got an easy meal, but it's still a dangerous situation to fall in the water with a lot of scent in the water and a really highly stimulated animal. It could make a mistake and accidentally bite the guy.
Come on, man! In this battle of fisherman versus shark, the shark has home field advantage.
So I'm rooting for the bull shark. I mean, real tough, sitting on top of a kayak and wrestling a shark in. It was funny to see how quickly the tides turned when the playing field was leveled and he was pulled into the water. He kind of turned into a little girl.
I think the shark dumped him because basically the animal's running for its life. I mean, if you were on the end of a line and someone was trying to pull you in, you'd pull as hard as you can. And if you want to decide to hang on to that line, that's your decision.
Now let's meet the man who's taken paddleboarding to the next level.
So I see the shark spinning, beautiful animals, almost my height. It's like, oh, this is a big one. So we crossed, we intersected. I went over him, I fell. This doesn't change my lifestyle. You know, it's nature, it's their habitat, right?
If you don't want to get swallowed by a basking shark, stay away from its giant pie hole.
Until it actually approaches you with the mouth open and you see it, you know, there's that moment where you think, is that a... No, it's a basking shark.
These animals are very shy, don't really like a lot of disruption or anything. To have that kind of encounter with the animal in such a intimate way just must have been amazing.
With friends like these, you're probably better off alone.
He's right there!
This crew has seen too many episodes of Jackass. Just because you get pushed in the water and there's a big shark around doesn't mean you're going to get instantly attacked. But you can change those odds by being really dumb.
He's right there!
While all sharks seem to be constantly hungry, some are just starved for affection.
White sharks have a behavior where they will display curiosity by circling an object. And if they're still curious and they can't figure out what it is after they scope it out, they may come in and they may bump it.
The one thing about great whites is that if it's really stimulated on something to cause you danger, it doesn't want to be seen. So to be able to have it swim around you like that, it's investigating it. They're cautious animals that don't want to cause any damage to themselves as well.